Hi everyone, this is Tammy at Snowstorm Crafts and welcome. So today I want to show you guys how I put together my Coraline doll, and there is a pattern below in the description box. Just click on the link, it'll take you to my Etsy shop and you guys can get the pattern and follow along with me. Okay, so what I want to show you guys today is what you're going to need to assemble this little doll. So we're going to have to trace out everything. I just use just a gel pen, just a regular gel pen. And then I use just a Crayola, just a white Crayola, like on the darker fabrics. And for her little freckles, which I'll show you how I do today, I just use the Micron uh, 05, just a little pen, just any kind of permanent pen would work. I have for her nose, when I put her nose together, I just use just any kind of thread will work great. This is just the Coats and Cotton thread. Okay, and it's a Egypt color is the color of it. So I use that, and then to sew like her mouth and her legs on her body and stuff and different things like that, I use the just embroidery floss, and I usually use about 2 strands because there's 6 strands in each uh, little thing here. So I just use 2 strands. Okay, so I got that. And then for her hair, I just have a royal blue red heart yarn. So any kind of yarn that you want to use. I have a hemostat for stuffing. And then I got the fiber fill here, just a little fluff and a hemostat. And I have a lot of these links down in the description box in my Amazon. So you guys can just come click on them. It makes it easy. So I got that. And then I just have some blush or bronzer that I do for her cheeks. And a Q-tip is what I usually use. And then just distressed oxide. You can barely read that because I've been using this like so much. So it's just a black soot distressed oxide by Ranger. And I just do that around the eyes just to give her like just a little hollow look around her eyes. A needle, and then this is embroidery floss on it. So just a needle, some Fabrifix glue, and a sweet sugar bell icing container with a nice pointy metal tip. It makes life just so much easier when you're doing detailed work and stuff. And you can do a hot glue gun if you prefer that, but I prefer the Fabrifix glue. Then we got the turners that helps so much for like the little arms and little boots and different things like that. These come in really handy. And this is what it looks like. It's just a quick turn fabric tube turner. And it comes with a set of 3 here. So it makes it really nice. So I also want to mention that a sewing machine comes in handy, but you can hand stitch this whole doll if you want to. Okay. So also, if you want to get caught up to this point with me, I have detailed videos on my playlist. I'll put on the end screen for you guys. It's the Junky Grungy Grammy doll series. And I show you guys in detail how to put the body together, how to add the legs, how to do the face with the buttons and the nose and the mouth, the blush and everything. And I'd show you guys in detail how I get to this point. You know, how I trace everything out and then stuff the legs and all that. So go ahead and just pop over there, watch those. And it even labels it out. Like it says the body and then it says how I do the face. And so it's all labeled out for you guys, and you guys can just go check out that playlist. And it's really fun to follow along with. Okay. So now what I want to show you guys today is I got my coat, her little raincoat, all done. And I want to show you guys how I put her arms in it and then put her raincoat on. Plus, we're going to do the hood and the lining. Okay, so this is the hood and the lining. And I'm going to show you guys how I put all this together, attach it to the coat, plus her little rain boots and her little ears. And then we'll add her hair and all that stuff. So we'll just finish it and get it all done today. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start with her coat. Okay, I'm going to put her over to the side for a second. So you got her little raincoat here. And I got it all traced out, and I doubled up my fabric. And now what we're going to do is just fold it in half. Find the center of it. And then you're going to want to go through just the top layer here. And we're going to cut it in half. Want that opening. And I also forgot to mention we do need buttons. So I do have a bunch of buttons down in my description, the description box below, and my Amazon links and stuff. I have tons of buttons that I got off Amazon and just so much fun to play with. Okay, so you just cut that in half. So there we go. See, you got yourself a little coat. That. And I want to show you guys how I put her arms in. And this is when the glue comes in handy. So I just put my glue in it's an olive jar. And you could see it did leak. And I used to have a little dye in the bottom of it that it would sit on top of, but it leaked and then hardened. And now it just kind of just sits in here when I'm using it. But when I'm not using it, because it does kind of leak, I just take it, turn it, go like this, and then stick a needle, just a little push pin needle, or just a little needle up in the top of right there, a little straight pin. So that's usually what I do. That's my little process, because I hate it when I grab glue and it takes forever to come out and you're just like, oh my goodness. So when I'm using it, I just pop it in like that. Okay. So if you guys see a weird little jar over here, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So we got that, and then we got her arms. And then this is when the hemostat will come in handy. So we just take it. And we're just going to go like this. Just go through her sleeve. Grab the arm. And then just slide it up to where you want it. I like to do about there. Okay. And you take your glue, and you can see the arm sticking up right here. So I just do a little smidge of glue. You don't need much. And then do it on the other side, just to make sure it doesn't slide out. There we go. You don't really need much at all because you don't really want it going through the fabric. So I just kind of do that. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. Now on this part, I'm going to go ahead and just cut right to the line. Okay. 2 of them here. Okay, guys, to be totally transparent here, I'm going to show you guys my mistake so you do not make it. So what I did is when I did the pattern, I sewed the bottom. Don't sew the bottom, please. So you're just going to take it and sew all the way to this point right here, and then do a back stitch. So leave the bottom open, just like that. So I went ahead and stitch ripped it. So I just wanted to show you guys, I mean, we all make mistakes, right? So what we're going to do is just stitch rip the bottom here. We are all human. I was looking at it going, wait, that doesn't look right. Okay, so we're just going to take out the bottom. Ta-da! That makes way more sense. Okay, so do not sew the bottom. So we'll just do a little stitch rip in there. And, that's part of sewing for sure. I mean, if you guys have been sewers, you know. That is part of it. Okay, now what we're going to do is take the good side of the right side of the fabric and the right side. I always call it good and good. Okay, and we're going to take this and tuck it in. Okay. Tuck it in, all lined up. That makes more sense. Okay, so just get it all flush. Line up your seams like that. Okay. Push it back in there. Get it all the way back. Line up your seams. Okay. And if you want, you can clip it or pin it or whatever you want to do. Okay. And then we're going to leave the bottom open and just sew right along the edge. So we're just going to take it and sew all the way just around where your face is, just right around that, just to attach it together. Okay. And then we'll leave the bottom open and flip it, and we'll have a lined hoodie. So I'm going to just go sew just all around the edge real quick. So I went ahead and you can see I just did a back stitch and then I sewed all the way around 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and then did a little back stitch here. Okay. Now, bottom is open. We're just going to flip it. That. And that should look something like that. All right. And then you just tuck in the lining. Pop it into place. And you have yourselves a hoodie. Put it to where you want it. I'm just lining up the seam right here. I want to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do the same thing, but do a back stitch here, and just sew all the way around the front of it, just to make it so it stays, and looks nice. Then, if you want here, fold up the bottom, like that. Fold it up maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, and do a stitch all the way along there. And then we're just going to be attaching it to the back here. So you won't even see that stitch. It'll be like that. And then when it's attached, you'll just have like a little stitch across the top. So you can do it that way, or you can glue it, which I've done before. You can just take your glue, fold it over. If you don't want a stitch going across the back of it, if you don't want a stitch going across it, you can just glue everything down. So it's up to you, whichever one you want to do. But I think I'm going to go ahead and sew it, and we'll come back and see how it looks. I went ahead and just sewed around the hood on the front here. Now I decided, instead of sewing the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and glue it. I'm going to glue it. That's the inside. I think it turned out really cute. So you got yourself a fun little lining. So I'm going to flip it towards the inside here. Let's go ahead and just glue it together. All right. And then just fold it up and glue it just about 1/4 of an inch. Like that, just so you don't have frayed edges, which I'm usually not too concerned about frayed edges. Like, I keep the frayed edges on the front here, but if you want, you can flip these over. Excuse me. You can flip them in and do the same thing and glue these in like that, and then you won't have the frayed edges. But I tend to just keep those, but I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to do it here. And this may be something you have to do a little clip with. This Fabrifix dries pretty, not super fast, but it does a good job. I mean, I like using it better than hot glue, just because I think hot glue gun, it just too quick, for me. I like to kind of have a little leeway, like if I didn't like the way I did this, I still have time to unfold it and fold it back to the way I want it, and, different things like that. So that's why I like to use the Fabrifix glue. Personal preference. Okay. So we got that. And now while that's just sitting there drying, we can go ahead and come over here. Now, like I said, if you want to, you can fold these under and you know, glue those. I mean, we could go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and attach the hoodie. You can see I went ahead and just glued down the flaps of the coat here. And these should be dry. To the back. And then you're going to take this part, the folded part, add some glue. Good. Easy as that. Make sure you're not gluing anything on this side, like the flaps shut. Double check. And then the doll is going to be right here to hide all that opened edge part. Okay. And really fun. I mean, looks like a little raincoat. If you guys are enjoying this video, please hit the like button down below. That does help me out a lot. It gets my video out there more for others to see how to make this little fun Coraline doll here. So yeah, I really appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys. You guys are enjoying it. Okay. And then you can just take it, glued, to get it on my table a little bit. There we go. The good thing about this Fabrifix is if it's still wet, you can just take it with your finger and rub it and it'll come off. So that makes it really nice. So I'm just going to take it and fold the hoodie down. And then it sticks on her back perfectly. And then we'll set her here. And then her arms are attached to her coat. Then it's all attached together. It turns out so fun. And then what I do is I just glue the raincoat to her to the dress right here. And then I'll show you guys how I add the buttons. Okay. I mean, that's so fun. There's just so many ways you could do this. You know, you can make different colored dresses. You could do different colored raincoats if you want. I mean, you could have folded up the bottom too and did, you know, if you didn't want the phrase down here. But I just wanted to show you guys, you know. I'm not too worried about like fraying and stuff like that because with these patterns that I make, they're whimsical, you know. They're like when you do receive the pattern, it's going to be hand drawn by me. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. That is, I think that's the fun part about it. Like if you get, you know, like I think it's fun to create things where you don't have to overthink it and you don't have to be like, oh, you know, it has to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. I really like the fact that it can just be put together and they're all different, you know, like, you know, you don't have to perfectly sew it. You don't have to perfectly cut it out. It can just, you know, have some phrase to it. It can have some imperfections. And I just think it's something that we should embrace is that we're all different. And I think they turn out super fun. And it gives them more character. You know, the more wonky they are, the more different they are. It just gives it, you know, your own personality to it. So that's what I love about them. And also, these are not made for little small children because they can be choking hazard with the buttons. So I like to say that in my videos and in my Etsy shops. So I want to show you guys how I do my buttons here. You can see I just put a little X in the middle of it. And I'll show you guys real quick. Button, go to the back. Take a little bit of glue, just touch it. Oh, that was a little more than a little. Oops. That, and then just make an X. That. And I just pop the glue down. And then I'm just gonna take it. Yeah. Buttons, got that done. Let's go ahead and do our freckles really quick. So I'm just using my micron pen. And do there we go. She got little freckles. Let's go ahead and do our ears and then our little rain boots. And then we'll work on the hair. We're getting there. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and do our ears. What I like to do is leave just at least a 1/4 inch flap or so. And we're going to cut about an 1/8 inch around the ears. I'll go ahead and this is where your little turners come in handy too. Pull them out. Finger press them. Glue. Super simple. Like this. So just look at how you want the ears. The hair is going to be covering them too. I mean, they're just going to kind of stick out. I'll show you. That's why we can do the flaps, because we're going to hide them with the yarn. And do the same thing to the other side. Isn't that cute? Okay, ears. Now let's go ahead and do the boots. Depending on how tall you want the boots, I mean, you can go ahead and cut right to the line if you want. However you want to do it. No, that's the great thing about this. There's no set rules with anything. I just give you guys just a guideline, you know, and you guys go with however you want. I don't know why I put that away. I need it. These just are really a game changer. I mean, it's so easy. You guys can see. You just pop it on there. Boop. Easy as that. If I didn't have this, I'd just sit here all day and try to turn this. And it'd be like, nope. Easy, easy, easy. That one. The little curves. And we're just going to take it. They just slide right on. And just keep that in mind. Do not overstuff the legs because then it just makes it hard to get them on. But you just pop them on and then I'll get the other one on and we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and add the hair to our little Coraline doll here. And I have 7-inch strips of the royal blue, just the red heart yarn, but you can use whatever yarn you prefer. So I got a 7-inch and then I got 8 inches over here, just because I'll show you. I'm going to be doing the part there, shorter side over here. So this is the 7-inch strips. I'm going to add it like that. I'll just go ahead and add it and I'll show you. In front of the flap, and we'll bring it on the back of the flap. Fold the yarn in half. We'll be giving her a haircut too. Even it all out when we're all done. On either side of it. The ear. Okay. And then I'll just show you over here. This will be the longer side. Cut them up against each other like that. Here. If I get glue on my fingers, I try not to get it onto the yarn because it's really hard to get the glue off the yarn. So I just try to go like, if you see me going like that a lot, I just try to get it off of my hands before I touch the yarn, because it just makes it so it's hard to get it off of there. All the way around. And if you want, you can put the glue down here underneath the ear. Because we want to cover up the flap of the ear too. Just our little tab that we did right there. And you don't have to do 7 and 8 inches. I mean, you could do them all the same size and then just go around and trim the hair when you're all done. This just makes it so I don't waste as much, you know. Now for the back here, I'm going to use the longer pieces up on top and then the shorter ones down below. So we're just going to do just arches. I'm going to start like this. Center, head, there, and just work around and just keep them tight together. Keep them tight because you don't want any gaps, you know. I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down. So I'm right at the end here. Let's put the last in. Really cute. What we're going to want to do now is just make sure everything looks tight. You don't have any bald spots. Glued. And we're going to give her a haircut. Make sure not to cut the hoodie there. You can go as short as you want, or keep her hair longer. I mean, however you want to do it. I think she turned out really cute. And she will be for sale in my in the Etsy shop below. I'll have the link down below of her. And also, I forgot to tell you guys, I do have the pattern for the kitty that she has. So the thing is, I'll make sure to put on the end screen the Season of the Witch series, and I show you guys how I make the cat in detail. We got the little kitty here, and it's uh, a different pattern, just a smaller. Sorry, I had the camera shaking around. I didn't mean to. It's just a smaller version of what the grungy witches hold and stuff, but it's the same concept where you just, do it, turn it, and then you just keep a little tab here and this part open and stuff the little kitty that way, and then just do a whip stitch to close it. But I show you guys in that series, so you guys can go check it out. But this is her little kitty that she's going to hold. That, and I just sew her hands together, and then she'll have the little kitty in her hands. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informational. And if you could please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you guys will see my next video when I post it. Like, comment, and share, and let's grow together. And keep on crafting.